Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan Realtors video podcast. My name is Brad Ward.
And I'm Brian Western.
And here is everything that's going on in Lansing. Hold tight, everyone. There are just 2 weeks before the election. Being in a battleground state, we're kind of bombarded with ads. I assume they're still selling products and not people on TV, but we'll have to wait to see what it bears out in the second week of November.
So true.
But right now, the contest is really for control of the Michigan House of Representatives. As you know, the Michigan House of Representatives is right now under Democratic control. Obviously, the election, the House Republicans are angling to try and retake that power. But the period of time after the election between the end of session is known as lame duck. So I anticipate if the House Democrats are able to hold on to control of the Michigan House, we probably will see a little bit more of a tame lame duck session. But if the House Republicans are successful in flipping that chamber, you might see a very active lame duck, because that would kind of signify the end of this trifecta of Democratic control of both House, Senate, and the governor's office. So we're already seeing some positioning in the Michigan Senate of some bills that they are putting on the table for lame duck session. And one of those is really dealing with the Michigan Consumer Protection Act and existing exemptions in that act for licensed industries like ours.
Yeah, and it's important to note, obviously, Michigan Consumer Protection Act is extremely important doctrine. Obviously makes a clear roadmap for the consumers of Michigan to have a clear understanding of what their rights are when they're dealing with businesses. But one of the key elements of the Michigan Consumer Protection Act is the existence of exemptions for regulated industries. And there are currently a couple of different approaches to try and address those exemptions: the legislature and the Supreme Court. Yep. And Attorney General Dana Nessel has testified in front of the legislature, and there are bills that are in play to really overturn if not all, many of the exemptions. Yep. And the Michigan Supreme Court is also looking at a very important case right now, which could overturn longstanding precedent and implicate the exemption that our own Article 25 licensees benefit from, because they are protected from frivolous lawsuits when they're practicing within the scope of their licensure.
Yeah, the idea being that our members are exempted from the Consumer Protection Act because we're already covered under administrative rule through LARA overseeing our licenses. So if you are a bad actor during a real estate transaction, they very much have the ability to go after your license. They can take it away. They can censure you. They can fine you. So you're already subject to that oversight, not to mention any kind of civil suit arriving out of that. So the Consumer Protection Act is just another layer. The exemption was built in because you already had these kind of regulations and oversight over licensed professions. I do think it's important to note that to say that the exemption means that all actions of licensees are exempt from the Consumer Protection Act, we've already seen within our own industry instances in which the court has applied that test and has found people under the Consumer Protection Act.
Yeah, and without a doubt. And one of the other key takeaways is, if you're looking at this and trying to overturn exemptions wholesale, that's wrongheaded. I mean, you got to look at this in a more holistic manner and try and figure out where the values of these exemptions lie and where they may not.
Yeah.
And right now, it's not holistic in any way.
So these two bills received a hearing in the Senate Finance and Consumer Protection Committee last week. We testified in opposition. We maintain that opposition currently. There are no changes to the bills that have been proposed at this point in time, so we will remain opposed to that. Speaking of the Supreme Court, they also recently came down with a ruling on a former ballot initiative with regard to paid sick leave in Michigan that really kind of opens up the door to muddying the waters on the definition of who is an independent contractor, potentially bringing realtors back into an employee status.
Right, and obviously this is absurd. Because the whole dynamic, obviously, with realtors and real estate licensees in Michigan is the fact that we do have a definitional carve-out on how one becomes an independent contractor in the real estate context. And quite frankly, what I think this misses is trying to characterize people who are as employees when they have no interest in being characterized as such. Part of being an independent contractor is that autonomy.
Yes. Yeah. The ability to build your own brand and to work your own hours, set your own hours, establish yourself as kind of an independent business has always been important to our membership. So this is part of kind of a larger piece, but our focus is right now kind of laser focused, if you will, on that definitional change. Any kind of change to the definition of an independent contractor, despite having, our statutory test, if it muddies the waters, as we've seen before, it only takes one court, one set of circumstances, one bad instance where that can go separately. So we've been very vigilant as an association in terms of maintaining our independent contractor status and making sure that definitions fit the model of the real estate industry and the business that members conduct.
And we will continue to do so.
Yep. So watch for that bill, something that we will support in terms of changes to the Paid Sick Leave Act going forward. Portions of that will also apply to any kind of brokerage operation that employs salaried people as well. But the independent contractor one is that something we really want to call your attention to make sure that we protect that. So we got a busy few weeks coming up to end the year here when the legislature returns. Stay tuned to all of our communications for the latest breaking legal and public policy news, and make sure you stay tuned for any kind of call for actions coming your way on some of this important legislation, pro or con. And with that, I'm Brad Ward.
And I'm Brian Western.
And thank you very much for joining us today.